Where are you? What do you think of our timer, everyone? We're working on it. Oh yeah, I've got a full screen this thing. Who wants to see a taskbar? Nobody wants to see a taskbar.
It's more professional if they feel like it's not just a simple video that's playing.
That's right. I mean, we're working on it. We're always trying to improve this show, aren't we?
Yeah.
Starting soon. Try to make it obvious, but not too obvious. I could have like fireworks going off beside the starting soon thing, but
maybe a little finger going. Here,
yeah.
I can just do this. I can just do this the whole time. Hey everybody,
It's that one. Yeah.
This.
That's right.
Starting soon.
Microsoft Ignite this week, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means a overflow of information.
Yes. For sure.
What I need to do, I have watching the blog post. There's going to be a gazillion blog posts this week. Tomorrow.
Yes, there will be.
Tomorrow morning, for us in the morning, it's going to be crazy.
Yep. RSS feeds will be filled.
Indeed.
Well, we're just about, yeah. Oh, I don't even have to say it. It's on screen. You can read it.
You don't
I won't
even
insult
need
your
to.
intelligence. Yeah, it's right there. Hey, it's Phil. You guys changed over in the weekend to daylight saving? Okay.
Really?
Yeah, no, I read that.
Just trying to get a jump on things, eh?
Well, it helps.
Slow roll.
So does that mean, Phil, that you're joining at what time? Feel free to drop that in the chat.
It's probably about 4 his time, I'd think.
Yeah, maybe. Well, okay, there's going to be a few buttons to click here, so I'm going to get ready for that. Should we drop? We'll drop Phil's comment and we'll look for it later.
Bye, Phil.
I know. Okay, let's see if we can do this professionally this time. Here we go. So, rolling intro. And I left the little graphic things up. It was just, I know.
So unprofessional. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the 365 Message Center Show. This is episode 217. We're so happy to have you here and have the birds here.
Oh, you can hear my birds?
Definitely. So Daryl has a flock of birds that's right next to his head. Yep. And we're so happy that you're here. And those that are in the chat room, thank you for joining us. Feel free to speak up. We'd love to hear your comments and thoughts on the updates this week. We are preparing for Microsoft Ignite, kicking off tomorrow for this week. So 48 hours of crazy amount of content coming our way. And with that, we'll have a lot of announcements.
We will.
And we actually have a lot this week. But before we get into it, let's make sure you're following us on socials. Go over to our LinkedIn page and hit the follow there so we can do some cool stuff later. And make sure that you follow us on Twitter and Insta and Facebook, all those socials at 365MCS. Would love to see you there. Make sure you hit the thumb down about yay right there. And on YouTube, click the bell. With your big toe, just stick your foot up there.
That's after you've subscribed.
No. Do the bell first and then subscribe. Maybe I don't know. Either way, whatever it is, do it, and make sure you give us a follow. So, thank you everyone for joining. Let's jump into this, right, Daryl? We've got we got a bit of work to do here today, so let's dive into it.
All right. We have the right scene. We have the technology. No, we don't quite have the technology. Our first update for the day. The other thing we're trying to do this time around and trying it out is just grouping our updates into the different products so it's easier for you to find it when we chapterize the video later. Scoot on through to the Outlook updates, the Teams updates, the SharePoint updates, and so forth. first segment of the day is our Outlook updates. So this is all about Outlook for iOS and the power of editor in our iOS. This is MC294741, and we've become maybe accustomed to using editor within Microsoft Word, where it's making suggestions for grammar, it is suggesting corrections for spelling, but the other thing, Daniel, is that it helps to maybe make your language sound a bit more professional and making suggestions about changing up some of the wording. We're going to start having that experience within Outlook for iOS. And so the way that it's going to appear, I think we've got a screenshot. No, we don't. That's all right. The way that it will appear as we're typing, it will look like faded text as we're typing away, and we can tap if we want to accept the suggestion, or tap if we want to make a choice between a couple of suggestions. So this is helpful because when you are on the move, we tend to get a bit lazy with how we're typing and what we're saying and how we're saying it, because our thumbs are finding accuracy problems all over the screen. So this is going to be a good feature. It is rolling out early November, so that would be soonish because it's 1st of November, 2nd November around the world here, and complete mid-December. Daniel, let's keep it in Outlook.
Yes. I do want to mention, though, that I can now understand why the voice-to-text has issues with those from... okay, I'm just going to say Daryl. I don't know about the rest of the New Zealanders, but because when you said grammar, I thought you said grandma, like, you know, your mother or father's mother. Anyway, so moving right along, text predictions in Outlook for iOS and Android, MC293771. Now, this might look familiar for a lot of our listeners that are in the US and Canada because you already have this. But this is for the rest of the world. This is text predictions, extending this text predictions for worldwide for Outlook in iOS and Android. And this will be rolling out late November through the beginning of the new year, 2022. So basically what this is, you'll be typing along on your mobile device in iOS and Android. There'll be suggestions happening. I just saw this yesterday. It was pretty peachy. And you swipe to accept what is being proposed to you by the app. You could turn this on or off depending on your preference in your app, and it does not have any sort of implication to the other places that it does it in for you, namely like Outlook on the web, Outlook for Windows, the normal Outlook app for Windows. So it doesn't, you control it in each one of those places individually. So Daryl, I think this might help for you, so that you won't say, it won't have grandma, it'll have grammar when you're typing stuff out. Maybe. That's all I was going to say.
But just note that those are two similar updates we've just gone through.
Yes.
The editor is tap to take the suggestion, and swipe if it's suggesting text predictions. So maybe it's going to be an interesting experience trying to choose, it'll tell you swipe or tap, but what is it? Is it a prediction or a editor thingo? Yeah. Okay, well, we've got to keep moving because we do have a ton of updates to get through. This one is, new experiences in Microsoft Teams 365 App Access. Now, I have dropped this into Outlook. Maybe it should have been in a different category. But it is demonstrated in Outlook as we get into it. So this is where we are getting into that season where new features and things are being talked about, released, suggested. It's all about preview and trying things out. And the key idea with this is, remember, we could go into Office, we could go into Outlook on the web, and we could swipe a little button here to say, turn on these features that are coming soon. Give me these new experiences so I can try them out. Now, look, I do like this because it means that people can opt in if they want to. and they can get an early experience of, okay, are these changes going to impact the way that I personally work and maybe the way that I work with my team members and across the org. It's a good way to get control of that experience for yourself. And we see on screen, and for those in the listening to the podcast, it's that swipe switch up at the top right hand corner and the coming soon button that'll be there for you to turn that on. So that's going to be available for Outlook on the web. Now,
I think this is interesting, Daryl. You know, they took it away and now they're giving it back. So I think that's very interesting.
Well, I think it's in the seasons of updates, right? So things were delivered, and then what was the point of having a switch there if it sort of sat there? But maybe like the public preview program we have in Microsoft Teams, that this might be a pattern they could let remain and have some of these features come a bit early. Anyway. So that is, I was going to say too that if you are an admin that wants to turn this sort of stuff off and have complete control of what people see and complete control of that change management, then you can turn it off. So turn that off for coming soon for your organization. There's a nice link down there to learn more and what you need to do to prepare if that's your choice. So rolling out mid-November, complete in late November. And we're into our next section, Daniel. This is...
Stream!
Yeah. All right.
Hit the stream button. So this is generate captions on demand for Stream built on SharePoint. So remember, Stream 2.0, quote unquote, is that underlying technology that is being utilized in SharePoint and OneDrive. So this is rolling out the early December. So we got about a month to go, and it'll be completed by early January in targeted release. And then starting in January for the rest of those tenants. And this is what it sounds like. You're going to be able to go to a video that's hosted in SharePoint and OneDrive. You're going to be able to go to the settings and generate a captions for that video. And so it'll process the video, give you captions, and once that transcript is there, you're going to be able to see that transcript. It's going to overlay those captions on the video for anyone who comes along and watches the video later and has that turned on. Those closed captions. You will be able to delete the transcript as well. If for some reason maybe you keep saying grammar, but it thinks you keep saying grandma, then maybe you want to, delete that because it won't make sense. So,
well, you raise a good point there, Daniel. Yeah, but continue.
Yes. But so anyway, so that's when it's coming, and there's not going to be any kind of, turn this on or off kind of bit. So this will be video by video. So that's it.
Yep. Well, I'll just add there, that's going to be useful for videos that haven't come via a Teams recording, just dropping it in there and creating those transcriptions on demand. Though I don't yet see any mention of how can we correct that. So if I want to go in and edit that
I don't think there is a way to correct it, especially in this iteration, because we can't upload a transcript right now.
Right.
It's not allowing this. So if we could, then maybe we could download it, make edits, and upload. But and that's not a simple process, people.
No.
So this is going to be the first iteration of it. So let's move away from Stream and get to Share. Oh wait, it's over here. I'm just like, here's the logo, SharePoint.
It is, that's right. So this is something, there we go, which I have a prop for this. I have a prop. Things that you grab and help people understand the update. But this is SharePoint Spaces Embed Web Part, MC294527. If you're an organization who is using SharePoint Spaces or you're thinking of trying it out, this is, remember, the experience when you can create a 360 immersive experience of some SharePoint content, some SharePoint Space content. But this is adding the ability to embed HTML pages. So that allows us to bring in a whole lot of other stuff. Microsoft Forms. I think probably one of the most powerful two things there are your PowerPoint embed viewer, so you could then view a PowerPoint, and I think what it means is that we can scroll the way through the slides, and it'll present it as PowerPoint online. SharePoint pages, so bringing whole pages into that experience. Now, the thing I want to note here too is you can experience SharePoint Spaces with or without a VR headset. Right? You can just see it flat. You can drag your mouse around and have a look at a immersive environment. And there's been some good examples of using that for bringing people into an onboarding experience and letting them see the working environment. Or I think John Moore has used it for training people in how to use meeting rooms, and he's got call-outs. Now, two ways to view it. You can either use your VR headset or use a flat screen. Now, one of the things that this this update talks about is that the embed web part is only visible when you're using the flat screen. So I guess that'll be most people. But let's say that I'm viewing this great. Oh, okay, so I can see this web part. There it is. There's a thumbnail. Click. Oh, what? I've got to view the embedded content from my desktop. Okay, here we go. Viewing. Okay, back into. You see what I mean, Daniel? A little clunky.
I see some things. Yes.
You see some things.
I do see it could be clunky.
Yeah.
So, and this is first iteration. I hope that
Yep.
that kind of experience will be fixed in the future.
Yep. Oh, so we've there we go. I should have scrolled down a bit there. Here's your embed web part. That's about it. Yeah. But I mean, it is going to add a lot more functionality than just your 360 video tours and images. Anyway, rolling on. That this is available mid-November, complete late November. Check it out. Daniel.
Yes. Your turn. I am doing. What is the next one?
Lists.
Yes, the new Microsoft 365 list entry point in the SharePoint app bar MC295021. This is great. So, okay, let me get to when it's rolling out, and then we'll talk about the greatness, quote unquote, of this. Targeted release late November, and is expected to be completed by early December, so that'll be pretty quick. Standard will be early January, so they're taking a break here a few weeks after the target release, and so at the beginning of the new year for standard release. This is adding a button on the SharePoint app bar for Microsoft List. So you'll be able to click there. You'll see your recent list, your favorites that you have on there. So giving you an entry point into List. So great. I really don't have a huge problem with this because it's good. I like having easy access to my content. The problem is number one, you can't turn it off. Okay, fine. They're throwing that on there and you won't be able to turn it off. Okay. The part though that I'm thinking is, how many more are we going to get? So, this is our fifth one that's going to be there, but how many more are we going to get on there, and when will it get too busy? It's not busy now. It's not even close. But if they're going to they're going to start throwing items on the SharePoint app bar that we can't turn off, we can't organize, we can't do anything with other than just use, just like most of the points already on the SharePoint app bar. So, but again, I think it's good. It's just that we started asking questions when the SharePoint app bar was released. Well, this is great, but yet another navigation item. What are the limits? And we'll see how this goes. Of what else are they going to put on there and force on us? But like I said, it's rolling out soon for targeted release and starting at the beginning of the year for standard.
So that point Phil's raising, is that about when you've got a list but you want it hidden, and this is going to expose a list you intend to be hidden?
Yeah, I mean, this is lists that you've recently used or favorited. So if you've used those, then yes, they're going to show up.
And we wonder whether using a list is included in via a Power App.
Yeah, I do not know that answer. It's a very good question. Let's throw that, Phil. Let's throw that up on the Twitter space and See if we can get an answer for that. I do not know the answer, but knowing that, you got to remember that obscurity, hidden, is not security. So, just because you've hidden it, it doesn't mean it won't show up in things like this. I hope it doesn't for, those kind of applications that Phil is talking about there.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're on to Teams.
All right. This is about moving stuff. Didn't we talk about this recently, where it was about moving scenes or?
But I actually like this moving.
Yeah, this one.
Yes, but we're moving. Things are changing. Yes.
Yeah. So we know that Microsoft Teams, you can add tabs, bring content into your team so that you don't have to leave it. Well, the tab actions are moving. This is update MC295024. If you ever need to reload a tab, go to the website. I use that one a lot when I want to click on over to the full version of SharePoint or something. Pop out a tab. These are currently up in the top right-hand corner, sort of along that bar there where you can use them for tabs. Now they're going to be moved underneath the actual tab. Now this makes sense because it's putting everything together about the tab with the tab. So we see here on screen, I'll just read it out for our PowerPoint podcast people, that you'll be able to click on the tab and you can see where you would normally be able to edit it or change it, and they'll be adding the go-to website, expand it, refresh, copy link to tab. That'll all be under the tab as a drop-down menu. It is good, isn't it, Daniel?
Indeed it is.
Now, the interesting thing, too, is we're starting to see more of these things where a change is made and there is a short bubble there that says this is what it is and what it's for. And it's in product guidance. Great. It's only going to appear once. It's a one-time educational coach mark bubble. So you may need to tell people a bit more about it with some communications in your usual tech hub place. Just drop a little news article there or something. Because people will just go, get that bubble out of my face. I'm trying to use this thing. Now, what did it say again? You know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be rolling out mid-November. Expect the rollout to be completed early December. And for GCC, it will start to occur in early January.
Wonderful.
Next, Teams update.
New file sharing experience in Microsoft Teams. No, this is not a rerun. I mean, it kind of is, but this is a new version of this. New file sharing experience in Microsoft Teams, MC294746. Now, if this sounds familiar, the aforementioned rerun, it should for those that watch the show. We mentioned this first on episode 154 way back in July of 2020 is when this first came out. And this is really just bringing in the file sharing experience that we have in SharePoint and OneDrive and Windows with the OneDrive sync client, all of those sharing experiences in Teams when we're sharing files. We then mentioned it again in episode 183 back in February of this year because it was, it's really coming out this time. It's really going, well, it didn't. But now it is. I think they waited to put another update in here until it was done because it's available now. Go into Teams and you're going to have this new sharing experience. I'm not going to say too much more because it's basically the same sharing experience you have all the other places. So that's it.
Yeah, I think the one difference we see in the UI when we're making these choices is that because it's in Teams, it also says when you're sharing something in a chat that you're sharing this with the people in the chat. So it's making it easier to make those sharing choices.
Right.
Nice. What are we on to now? We're on to some sort of bits and pieces updates, right? This is
sweet.
Yeah, so what do we got? We've got general availability of.
There you go.
It's a good view, isn't it? Let's get rid of this graphic too because it's not about Teams. I didn't create one for this because how often are we going to be doing Visio updates? But this is a big one. Microsoft 365, including core functionality in Visio, MC295017. This was talked about at, I think it was the Collaboration Conference. Remember, like there was some big news around Dan talking about it in one of the sessions he was running, and it is bringing that capability. So most of these good capabilities that we want to use, like creating and editing flowcharts, creating diagrams in Visio online for free as part of commercial Microsoft 365 subscriptions. And this is great. This means that you're able to diagram and pull together some of these things. And maybe if one of your team member has a fuller version, then they can start filling the rest of it out. Or you're just using Visio to just get some initial thoughts together as a team. And you're wanting to do it in a more structured way than using something like Whiteboard. So you can create diagrams. You can seamlessly collaborate with people. So this is... Actually, have you ever co-authored in Visio before?
No.
We should try this when it comes available. Integrated
It's there
experience. Oh, it is there now? Well, I won't make everyone watch and try as we try and fumble our way through. But we might do this another time, just to see what that looks like. And yeah, look, no action is required for enabling this no cost feature. I love the way they're strung that together. One thing to note too, though, if you are an organization that is thinking about or has enabled self-service purchasing of the full Visio paid plans, then just consider that too. So this might be your initial, oh, this is great. We like using the free version, but can I provision the full version so that I can use this for my team? So that is rolling out early November, expect to be complete late January 2022.
All
last
right.
one.
Yes, let's get moving on to this last one, and we've got some things to talk about here before we get to our callback. The last kind of update here that we're covering today is rich text and images in Planner Task Notes, MC28295, 027. And on the surface, I went, yay! I was excited about this. I still am excited about it. This is rolling out mid-December and will be completed, hopefully roll out early February of 2022. And this is just bringing rich text. We're going to be able to put in rich text, of course, but also pictures, images, and comments when we're making comments on planner notes. So I think that's great. I feel that a lot of people will, especially when you're doing things like comments of you're documenting, you're saying, what is this button? I don't know what this is, or here's what I did, and screenshotting, stuff like that. But here's the kicker. You're waiting for the shoe to drop, weren't you, people? Well, here it is. So this will be only for Planner for the web and for Teams. Okay? You will get your notes will all be in those apps, will all be rich text. Okay? In the other experiences, so experiences in iOS, Android, SharePoint, Power Automate, all of those will be still in the plain text. So there's actually 2 notes fields that are going to be now available. And it talks about being available via the Graph API as well. Well, here's the kicker. If you make updates in the rich text, then it will automatically be synced down to the plain text, the older notes. Okay, great. So it takes away all the rich text and puts it in the plain, okay? And vice versa. There's the kicker. So if I go in, add an image and do some things, and then I go and edit in plain, okay, it's going to overwrite my rich text. So all of those rich text I've done, pictures, everything, poof, gone.
Oh, wow.
See ya. So this is something you're going to, if you're heavily using Planner, you definitely need to educate your users on this, because you're going to lose data. You're going to lose formatting, and it's going to be those images. I think it's going to be the kicker. Bold and italics and underline. That's not a big deal as I added images in there and now it's gone. Yes, it's because someone went in there and edited, you went in there and edited the notes but you did it not in Planner for the Web and for Teams. So they're going to roll this out at a later date, but not now. So there's where it kind of gets a little tricky. And again, this is something you're going to have to educate those that are using Planner to stick with the tool that they're using all the time.
Would you suggest just using the rich text editor regardless? And that what appears in the plain text will just be, okay, this is what it will look like?
Yes, I would suggest that, but it's not a choice for what version you're using. It's a choice of the tool that you're using to get to Planner. So it's not that I can on Planner for the Web go, no, I want plain text. You won't have plain text. It's going to be the rich text.
Okay.
So you just choose the tool, and if you're on your phone and you're like, I need to update that thing, and you update it on your phone, then you've just erased the rich text.
Oh wow!
Anyway, that's the gotcha, people.
Keep an eye out for that one. Yeah. We do have a callback which we can race on through in the next minute, and that's quite an exciting one because it's something I've been waiting for a while. I know we all have. Is Fluid Components in Microsoft Teams Chat is now available in public preview. Yeah. So we're just going to have a quick look at that now. Let's change up our scenes, bring up a chat, go on over to, there we go, and get rid of the Planner update. Okay. So we have a conversation in chat going here with a dude named Matt Stafford, and this is a live component. It's being added to a chat. That's your little button down there at the bottom to be able to add a live component. We've seen this in the demos before, but it's really cool to see this working now, Daniel, that as I have created one and I give that a subject, it's saved into my OneDrive if I'm in chat, and that becomes a fluid document. And so now within a chat with, say, Matt, we're maybe putting together a list of things, then Matt might sort of say, this is for you, and please action. And we can see, the usual co-authoring type flags that go along. But, over when I'm trying to add something within the Teams chat, good thing to note is using a / and it does have that little hint there to say type / to insert something, and that's a good starting point. Think of these as a little like templates, very small templates that let you add a quick agenda. Let's try that. Okay, so now we've got a bit of text there that is a heading 1, there's a checklist there. I can put in the topic of Teams and then say that it is going to be talked about by Matt. So let's mention Matt, and maybe it's just for 10 minutes. And then we can work our way through that. Other things to note, we can see that Matt has the file open, so I can see when people are co-authoring with me, just like Office. And I can also check out and see who else has access. So just people in this chat. And then, later on we can copy that link and we can share it across to other Fluent or live component enabled experiences within Microsoft 365. So a quick look there, and get yourself on the public preview program if you can. It is definitely worth taking a quick look and preparing yourself for this change. One final thing to call out here, I have created a few resources around that for preparing us for change. So if you want to just go along to Modern Workplace Change and find a little campaign that you might want to make your people aware about what this is and how to use it, then you'll find that there done for your resources to create yourself a page. But that is the show.
Yes.
And we got through it, man. So much.
We most certainly did. There was a lot of content there. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of content next week as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you learned a lot. Please share the show. Whether you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and share whatever your favorite podcast app you're using. Share this episode. Share this episode on your social media with your friends. Send an email using YouTube as well. Let them know that we're a resource here for you, and for them to understand the changes that are coming and how they may impact them.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.